nine times out of 10, men are using their anger for a very dark reason. They get angry and then they do something destructive. You get angry and you say something terrible. You get angry and it just does worse for you than it does any good. But there are ways that anger can be used for good. And this is the part where people just don't spend enough time. All right, brother. So I just want to say if anyone has ever told you that you're an angry person, tell them to shut up. I'm joking. Don't do that. But if people have ever said that you're an angry person, I don't look at it as necessarily a bad thing because being angry is not bad. It's just not. I think the problem with anger is that when people don't know how to use anger, they usually use it for a bad thing. But anger can be used for good or for bad. And that's what I want to get into today. So, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll go ahead and talk about all this. So, at the end of the day, again, I've heard my own mama tell me that I was mean. That's a little different. But I'm sure when you're mean, you're angry, right? At the same time. This is when I was in high school. I don't think I'm like that today, but you're gonna have to ask my wife. Okay. Um, but people have been angry before. And when they're angry, they tend to use their anger in a very negative way, which is why people don't like when people get angry, right? If you got angry and you use it in a positive way, I don't think people would necessarily be so bothered by the fact that you got angry. It is true. But nine times out of 10, men are using their anger for a very dark reason. They get angry and then they do something destructive. You get angry and then you say something terrible. You get angry and it just does worse for you than it does any good. But there are ways that anger can be used for good. And this is the part where people just don't spend enough time, right? Men don't spend enough time in this area, but I promise you, if you do, it will help you grow as a person and it will help the people around you because now you're taking that thing that the enemy's trying to create. He's trying to create a problem. He wants you to be angry for a reason. He wants you to get all bent out of shape, all frustrated and all this stuff. And it's just like, don't worry about all that. So I got my book and we're going to get into it now. So again, anger used for a tool, flat out. And here's why. Anger, it's going to create some type of action from you, right? It will. A good action or a bad action. But what it should do is for the good action, it should motivate you. It should make you feel more determined to accomplish whatever it is that you need to do. So we speak about this, and I'm speaking about it from a marriage perspective, right? There are so many things that your wife, I'm sure, has said to you that has created some type of anger in you that did one of two things. It either got you to move forward or got you to move backward, right? If you moved backward, that means that you went into some old habits that you were finally clear from, felt that you were doing better on, didn't really think that these things were an issue, but you got so angry that you recognized you weren't over that problem yet. So you revert back to old patterns, pornography, overeating, gambling, drinking, whatever the case it is, because that's just the thing that's the easiest to do at the time. But you know it's destructive. You know it's destructive and it's not going to help you, right? So there are other things that can be done, right? Can it cause you to write more? Can it cause you to journal more? Can it cause you to go to the gym to get healthy, to go work out, go for a run? Do any of those things, right? Motivate you to get off your butt and do something productive. You know, one thing my pastor told me a long time ago that when I was divorced from my ex-wife, which was my last wife, I'm married now. He had told me and said something that was really interesting, but he said, son, you just ain't angry enough. You're not angry enough. After the whole divorce happened, I was like, how could you say that? I am angry. But in his mind, the reason why I wasn't angry enough is because I wasn't doing more to fight against what the enemy took from me. He took my wife, my ex-wife at the time. He took my relationships, my family, all these things and dissolved all that all over something honestly very petty. But because of that, his mind says, hey, you should be doing more. If you were really angry, like, why aren't you out there winning souls, like talking to the lost, ministering to them, leading them to Christ? And I agree, because there was more that I could have done. So because of those things, I ended up doing that. And because of it, I have a best friend today, all because I was angry enough to change someone else's situation instead of focusing on mine. And all because of that, I'm so grateful, because that's how Simply Trust started. But at the end of the day, anger can be used as a tool, like I said. So you have the right to choose what way you want to use that tool, for good or for bad. And in this situation, it's going to create some type of action, but let that action be good. Let that action be healthy and positive in a way that's going to help you grow as a person. Um, Anger, it can help you provide some clarity or make better decisions. And the reason I say that is because when you're angry, sometimes you just make the decision and you're done. Like, if your wife says something out of, you being angry, and she said something because she was trying to get you to, hey, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? You could easily normally be like, I don't know. I'm not really sure. But that anger can create you to be like, yep, nope, done. No, I don't want to do that. Yes, I want to do this. No, we're going to go this way. This is how we're going to do this, and call it a day. Anger will literally, it removes this fog, in my opinion, from your head, of the I don't knows, and that thing moves, and now you're laser focused on whatever this thing is. And then eventually, when you're not angry anymore, you go back to that normal state, right? Some people are automatically there, where they're always like looking at the big picture. Some people aren't, but sometimes anger can create the big picture. Sometimes the anger can create you to look a little bit deeper into some areas that you just haven't done before. So again, it's not a problem. And that's definitely a thing that, like, don't let people tell you this is a problem, because it's not. It's just how you use your anger. Okay. It's going to also help you with being a little bit more assertive, right? Now, this part, it can be very tricky, right? Most likely people are going to be aggressive when they're angry, but you don't have to be. Being assertive is just as powerful as being aggressive. Being passive, most likely when you're angry, you can be too. When you're angry, sometimes men just shut down. I don't know if that's you or not. I know that was me for a very long time, where if I was so angry, it was like all my computing in my head, it was just like, stop, just stop. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Don't do nothing. Just bring it down. And that's what I would do. I would just stop talking. And sometimes that passivity is just as bad as being aggressive, because it can be devastating to the person who's getting whatever you're giving them. But assertiveness, if you're angry, it can create a sense of assertiveness for you. Just making clear, more decisive decisions, but you don't have to let your emotions be controlled by your anger in a way that's going to have you rage out or whatever, but allow it to be positive. If you can use anger in a way that it creates assertiveness, then it's okay to have that, because it gets the job done, and it does it in a more healthy way. And then also the growth and development that you're going to receive from this, because when you get angry, there's some things that you start to recognize about yourself. One, why am I angry for? Why is this even a thing that bothers me, to the point where I got so angry where I had to do something or say something? Guess what though? That is good, because that allows you to take some time to really think about that stuff, really look into it, find out, like, where does this stem from? Was it a family issue growing up? Was it something that happened in my last relationship? Was it something my brother said when I was young? Those things can start to like resurface, and you don't even recognize how deeply rooted those anger issues are, because you've never taken time to really deal with it. You've ran from it, you shut down, but you never have taken time to really just like allow yourself to like process that anger and just question it. Like, why am I angry? Question those things, start to look at it, because the more you look at it, the more you dig into it, the better off you are and will be, because now you'll be able to take the time and grow if you allow yourself to grow. But if you don't, you're going to stay angry, and that anger will be used very destructively. And that's the last thing you want for your home. It's the last thing you want for any type of relationship you have, especially with your wife. You don't want to be angry just to be angry. If you are angry, instead of the bad, use it for good, because it's going to strengthen you and your marriage. So these are all things I would say look at. These are all things that are helpful. So don't let anyone tell you, like I said, that being angry is a bad thing, because it's not. It all just depends on how you use the anger at the end of the day. So on that note, fellas, love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and talk soon. See ya.